What does manhood mean to you?
So as brief as that question is, that is so layered and such a beautiful question. And so I have probably a lengthy answer, and I'm pretty sure what I say today will be even something else next year, because as I grow older, manhood gets redefined. Very little gets erased, but much more gets added.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of King Crush Thursday, the series where we highlight and uplift Black men, because frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and I'm super excited about this brother today. He is an award-winning educator who's been nationally known, nationally recognized, as well as at the local level. I pause because he bristles at the fact that he's called an award-winning educator, but the facts are the facts. So he's so much more than that, but please read the bio below. In the meantime, please welcome Dr. David Eric Thomas. Hi, David.
Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you said my middle name, because people who grew up with me outside of school, who just know me in my neighborhood of Southwest Philly, and most of my family know me as Eric. Some of the folks I grew up with never knew my first name was David. But people who know me professionally and through my K-12 life, they know me as David. So thank you for saying all of my names.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. So Mr. David Eric, Dr. David Eric, DE. We are here, and I'm so grateful that you are a part of this repository. We're creating a repository in phase 1 of 6 questions on our way to 100 answers by 100 different positive and successful Black men, with the goal of really starting to shatter some of the both very myopic and damaging narratives that is prevalent in the media about Black men writ large. And the goal is one day for a young king who may or may not have positive Black male role models in his life to come to this repository, see the same 6 questions answered by 100 different Black men, and be able to find guidance there. And then for the rest of us who are neither male or perhaps even Black, could also come to this repository, see these same 6 questions answered in 100 different ways, and also we would get a better insight into who Black men are, and to understand that what we often see in the media is not enough. And so I'm so glad that you are here. I'm going to claim it. You're the first person, with the exception of number 1, which was Carvin Higgins. You're the only person who has a number assigned to them within the actual series that I'll say. So Mr. Number 89, because you specifically asked for that number. And
yes,
why, sir?
Because that is the year I graduated from high school. I'm a proud member of the 248th graduating class of Central High School of Philadelphia, the Central High School, and the great 248, everybody knows. So that's why.
Excellent. So Mr. 89, I'm so glad that you are here, which means that we're almost near the end of our phase 1, which is, oh my goodness. So I'm so glad. So I'm going to get started with the first question, which is, what does manhood mean to you?
So as brief as that question is, that is so layered and such a beautiful question. And so I have probably a lengthy answer, and I'm pretty sure what I say today will be even something else next year, because as I grow older, manhood gets redefined. very little gets erased, but much more gets added. And for me, manhood is meekness, which we know, those of us who understand or have any experience in the Judeo-Christian church and the scriptures, is power under control, right? And that comes from confidence and knowing who you are. If you're a man or a woman or a person of faith, knowing whose you are and where that is rooted and grounded. And men, as powerful as we might be, particularly going back to that narrative that you mentioned earlier, that tends to portray particularly Black men in a negative position of power and a fierce or animalistic position of power. Meekness is really, I think, the crux of manhood. Meekness, love, one who is courageous enough to show emotion, to cry and to love and to weep with those who weep and rejoice with those who rejoice, right? I'm full of scriptures today, but the truisms of the sayings of old really define manhood. One who is selfless and gives their all for those that mean the most to them, for those who are the least of them. Manhood is layered. Manhood is laughter and tears, and friendship and vulnerability. Manhood is being able to do the things that you need to do rather than the things that you want to do, which is discipline. I used to tell my son that, and all my cousins, as they were growing up, I said, the key to manhood is being able to know that I have to do this, but I want to do this. Which one do I do? And deferring to the things that you have to do over the things that you want to do is a true sign of discipline, a true sign of manhood. And those are the things that I try to build my life upon. Those are the things that I try to share with my mentees, and those that I disciple and do life with. So again, ask me that question tomorrow. I'll have more to add, but I'll say that for today.
That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So David, who and or what is important to you?
My family, my friends are extremely important. I'll talk about the who's now. I mentioned my son, my mother, my brothers, my nieces, my nephew. I have one nephew, Tyson. He's the youngest. So trust me when I tell you, he knows he's the youngest and the cutest one in the family, and he milks it as much as he possibly can, but he should. I have two cousins. I have many cousins. So my mother is the oldest of 17 brothers and sisters. My dad, who's deceased, was the youngest boy of 10 brothers and sisters. So my family is big. And when I'm walking anywhere, particularly in Philly, Delaware area, New Jersey area, and I say, hey, cuz, it's my real cousin. It's not a play cousin. It's my real cousin. So I'm very close to many of my cousins, but I have two male cousins who younger than me, who mean the world to me. My cousin Lester or Pooper, and my cousin Tariq. Just spend a lot of time with them. We bond. We cry together. We do life together. And we carry the name. They were on the Thomas side, so we carry the name of the Thomases with pride. So those are who was important to me. I also want to add my students and my staff, right? So where I work at the Community College of Philadelphia as a vice president, and I have a phenomenal team. And they're not just employees. They are extended family. They are friends. And I value them. I value their dreams. I value the things that they value. And if they value their family, I value their family, right? I understand that we are a web of community and a web of connection. And we are in the business of serving people. So if I don't serve the people that I have tapped to serve the other people, then I'm falling off the job as a leader. So they mean the world to me, and I invest in them. And the last thing I'll say is my in terms of the who, are my students, the students that I serve, the students of Philadelphia, the students that come and grace our doors at the Community College of Philadelphia mean everything to me, because when you think about just the population that we serve as the city's only community college and the largest public institution, we serve the most disenfranchised, the most marginalized individuals who at one point had dreams, but very often society has told them that those dreams cannot become reality. Yet they still found their way to an institution of higher education, very often hoping and praying that someone would reignite their dreams. And I get the honor of leading a division that does that for so many people. So I take their hearts and their lives and their dreams extremely seriously, and they mean the world to me. What is important to me? Service is important to me. Being able to, figuratively wash the feet of those people who do such life-changing work every single day is what's important to me. Being able to, again, weep with those who weep and be able to feel the pain that other people feel and walk alongside of them in that pain, as well as to rejoice and find joy and pleasure in the things that bring other people joy and pleasure. That means a lot to me. Relationships, you cannot have relationship with anyone unless there is trust at the root. Well, you can have relationship, but trust defines what that relationship is, right? So if there's no trust, that person's your enemy. But if there's trust, they're your friend, they're your family, they're your confidant. So relationships mean the world to me. And I'll say, so I know I'm sounding real deep now, so I'll say some fun stuff too, which mean a lot to me. Fresh air and walking and flowers and plants and nature and animals, they mean a lot to me. Water means a lot to me. I'm not the best swimmer, but I like water, sand, peace and quiet, phenomenal music. Those things mean a lot to me because at core, that is my foundation. It brings me peace. It refreshes me, and it allows me to be refreshed to serve other people. So, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. What a list. That's awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. So, David, how do you want us to see you?
Great question. As a servant, honestly, as one who walked into a room or walks into any room and says, how can I make those in this room better? How can I lighten their load? How can I bring them joy just by my interaction and my presence? How can I share some wisdom? How can I make life a little bit easier to live? I have committed my professional life and my personal life to investing in others, even when I didn't want to do it. And I think that is purpose, right? Like that's how when you were created and designed to do something, purpose to do something, then even when you want to run from it, you can't do that. And I servant, I want to be remembered as a selfless servant. Not that I'm always selfless, because I would be denying my humanity if I were to say that I always have it perfect. But that is my passion. That's what I strive to do, and to help people.
Wow, got it. Awesome, excellent. So, David, question 4 is: what is your epic dream?
My epic dream. Goodness gracious. Wow, these some questions. I'm pausing not because I can't think of anything, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it without sounding so Nirvana-ish. Like, it's unreal. But my epic dream would be to wake up tomorrow in a world that is free of racism. It's my epic dream. And guess what? I feel like particularly in America, a nation that has mastered racism, like no other nation and has trained and discipled, for lack of a better term, the rest of the world on what it means and how to practice anti-Black racism. And I'm very specific in terms of the type of racism. I really think that so many of the world's problems stem from that. And if there were a world free of racism, and that's the biggest if that there ever will be, I think we'd see the pain of so many gone. I think we see so many people healed on both sides, not just those who are who are recipients of racism or the victims of racism, but even the perpetrators of racism, because there's healing in those sorts of opportunities to not only to be forgiven, but to forgive. And that's my epic dream. Did that sound Nirvana-ish? It probably did, but my whole life is built on trying to figure out ways to ease people's pain. And the more work I've done in education, in social service, and mental health, particularly in my sphere. Now, I'm not going to say I've worked all over the globe, because I have not. But it all tends to boil down to some element of a racist system that has put people in a position of pain. That has been consistent across my 25 some years of working with people. So I just want to see that going. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. And the reality is everything sounds and is impossible, or sounds Nirvana-ish, if you will, big dreams, until it happens.
That's
right?
true.
You know, so we're just going to put that out there.
All right.
Amen. So you, as many of your brothers who come before you, have been answering number 5 implicitly all along, but I'm going to ask you explicitly. Dr. David Eric Thomas.
Yes.
Who are you?
Who am I? Well, I'm everything I've already said. Plus, I don't want this to sound like I'm bragging, but this is one thing that I think I have done really well in my life. And it comes from practice and failing, but getting back up and trying again. I think I am an amazing friend. And I say that because others have defined me as such. And part of that is because we all have family scars and, experiences growing up. And, while I'm friends with many of my family, those are our first experiences and relationships you have in the world. And some of my relationships with family growing up, and even still today, have made me value friends and the relationship of friends very often over some family relationships, simply because the hurt is deeper, I think, when it's biological for many instances. So I've spent a lot of my life trying to figure out how to be a good friend. And I think I'm a good friend. So that's the deep part about it, right? I'll move off of the deep part, because everything else is in my bio. But some things that aren't in my bio is I am, again, a lover of music. I don't tell people this often. I know if Ruth Naomi Floyd sees this, she will say, I told you, but I do sing a little bit. She's been trying to get me to sing again. I don't think I will. I tell folks, I'll sing. If you die and you have a funeral you want me to sing, I'll sing there, but you won't hear me, unfortunately, because you'll be dead. But I do sing at funerals still, but I don't do it for anything else. But I'm a lover of quality music, and I listen to everything, probably with the exception of heavy metal. But I love music. I love gospel music. I love 70s R&B. I think that was the best era to ever live in terms of music. I love phenomenal 90s and 80s pop and easy listening jazz and show tunes and, American songbook. I love all of that stuff, right? I love candles. I'm a man who loves a good smelling candle. I like masculine scents, but all of these things, I love some of the finer things in life. And that defines who I am, right? I don't necessarily think I'm the funniest person in the world, but everybody else tends to think I'm really funny. So I take that. I am honest. I'm a man who's honest in a way that brings healing, maybe not immediately, but I do speak my mind and I tell people the things that I know they need to hear and want to hear. Very often they want to hear it in a certain way, but I'm that human being who's going to say, when you interact with me, I do want you to walk away feeling different. And even if you don't feel better immediately, my prayer is that individuals will ponder, think, meditate, pray, interact, become introspective, and wherever they go, whether they return to me or go elsewhere, they're the better for interacting with me. So, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a nice list. Awesome. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Here
we are already at question 6, which is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't ask you? In other words, what did I miss?
What did you miss? I don't know. Your questions took me deep. So I don't know if you missed much. Aside from some surface questions, which of course, as a psychologist, I'm a trained psychologist, you can always get things from surface questions, but there's no real science to some of these things. So, folks ask, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? Those sorts of things, which, they could say something. I love green. For those of you who want to get into some psychology, study what they say about people who love green. I love green. You asked me, who am I? And I think that question also goes to, what do I want the world to remember me as, right? And again, I know I mentioned a servant and a friend. That's the one thing that I wish I had more time to talk about: legacy, right? Whether the individual has children or not, their presence, their energy, their spirit, and their works, hopefully, should be felt long beyond the time that they have graced this planet. And when you talk about, and I feel like legacy, the word legacy prompts from individuals a different type of response very often. So talking about the legacy that I want to leave is a legacy, or rather is a question that I think I talked about a little bit in here, but that's something that goes so deep and the roots of that run really deep. So having more time to talk about legacy would be it, because I think also if there are young men who will be watching this one day who do not necessarily think about legacy, at least not beyond very often a certain age. If they knew and understood the value of legacy, I think they take life more seriously and relationships more seriously.
Got it. That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of this. This is really wonderful and very rich. And you should know, one of the worst things that you could have done for your singing career was to say this out loud in front of because I'm going to join Ruth Naomi Floyd and make sure that we get to hear you and other people get to hear your voice. Be aware, sir.
I'm going to say that. Scratch that. Edit. Let's start over.
Nope, no edits. But I'm really grateful to be in conversation with you. Your reputation precedes you. Folks the likes of Ruth and other scholars that I know have been talking about you. And so when I finally got to meet you, I was like, oh, this is the man that people have been talking about. This is really wonderful. I'm so grateful that, you know, of all your accolades, and as people read your bio, the places that you've been and how you've been in the world for our people, for our community, for the people that you touch. Just your answer on who's and what is important to you just really speaks to that too. So I just want to honor you, my king, and I pray that your epic dream absolutely comes true. It's truth be told, part of that, this repository this series sits within your epic dream. Right. So if there is no racism, then there are no negative and myopic stereotypes, right? Or there are no just myopic viewpoints of a people group, if you will. And so I'm really grateful that you are here. And I just thank you. Thank you so much.
Valerie, thank you. I really appreciate it. Keep doing this phenomenal work. Proud to be number 89.
Yes. Thank you. And I was like, I've been pedaling. I've been like doggy paddling and you know, just trying to make sure that we got you here. It can happen. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So thank you. And hey, right there, because I want to thank the audience for tuning in. And I hope that today's conversation was as impactful for you as it was for me. And if there is a positive Black man in your life who you want to see highlighted in this forum, please click the link below or in my bio, fill out the nomination form, and we'll take it from there. We are on our way to highlighting in phase 1 and talking to 100 positive and successful Black men. I often say success does not equal what someone does for a living. He may indeed be an award-winning educator across the spectrum, but he doesn't have to be. It really is about the content of his character and the impact that he has on the lives around him, starting with the nuclear family to the community writ large and everything in between. Those are the brothers that we want to participate in this forum and that we wanted to be a part of this overall narrative. So please stay tuned next week for yet another amazing king. And in the meantime, please remember to spread love and have a great day. Thank you so much. And Dr. David Eric Thomas, thank you so much for all of this.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Val.